How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today we're going to be taking a first impressions look at a game called Farabel. One of the things that I immediately noticed about its name is the fact that the R looks like some letter that doesn't even belong in the English language, which sort of threw me for a loop there. I've never seen an R written backwards like that, so that's really, really weird. But anyway, the selling point of this game is it sort of bills itself as a turn-based strategy game with a story that runs from the finished back to the start. So it's kind of unique, and I've been playing it for a couple of hours now, and I think I have a fairly decent grasp of the mechanics, so we're going to go ahead and continue the campaign. I'm going to replay a mission that I played previously. So one of the interesting things about this campaign is I started the game once, and then I started it again using NVIDIA Experience so I could stream it to my tablet. And the interesting thing about it was that when I started it again the second time, all of my progress was gone. But then when I quit the game and started it again, all of my progress was back. So I'm not exactly sure what caused that to happen, but it seemed to resolve itself. But I was a little bit upset there at first because it looked like all of my progress that I had made had been erased. It hadn't, so yeah. So we're going to be playing this scenario here, the Flood. As you can see, unlike your typical campaign where you'd start at mission number 1, in this one you start at the very last mission and you work your way back to the first mission, and it makes sense in a roundabout way. The narrative is set up in such a way where it's explained why it is exactly that you continue to go back to battles that according to the characters in the story, they've already been there and they've already fought those before. So let's just go ahead and load this one. So as you can see, it's a grid-based strategy game here, a turn-based strategy game specifically, and there is a story. So it's not anything too in-depth. People who don't care at all about stories should not be annoyed by the little prompts here. Like, there aren't entire text boxes of dialogue to read through. It's all pretty short and sweet. Okay, so one of the things I especially liked about this mission, and the reason why I thought I would use it, is because it has some really cool units in it. Now, you might be noticing there is a tearing effect going across the screen. I didn't do anything to fix that. It might be in the options, but I don't see it. I'll try to fix that later, but I'm not exactly sure why that's happening. It could be because I have the G-Sync turned off. We'll see. We'll see. It's not that important anyway, but I mean, now that I'm recording it, I notice it, and it does look kind of annoying. So here we are. We have our various units. We have knights, mounted units. We have the healer. She's called a high priestess. We have standard warriors, and we have these scouts. The scouts are really fun. So they were first introduced in this mission, so that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and actually play this mission again, because they were really fun to use. They can jump across walls. In other words, we're going to move him onto this space, and then he has the special ability to teleport. And we're going to use that, and as you can see, he can automatically teleport 2 squares, and we're going to teleport onto the other side of this wall to activate that switch and open up the gate so we can actually get out of this area, so we can get into the city, because technically this is inside the city and we were outside the walls. Now, you might be thinking, well, this unit has already used all of its moves. Not quite. There is a little icon here, like you see the bar, right? You see the unit status bar, 10 out of 10 health. It says that's how many health I have. The little icon on the right of it is actually that indicates how much movement you have left. As you can see, I've already used all of mine. And then the indicators on the left side of this status bar are how many attacks you have left. Since this is a ranged unit, the scout has a range here, we can actually attack these other 2 enemy units, these armored orcs standing over here. The actual stats of these characters are shown in a panel on the right side, right bottom corner, lower right corner, I suppose would be the better way to put that, of the screen. This scout is not that strong. It only has a total of 5 strength and 10 health. So it can go down, if you're not careful with them, they're easy to, or they die relatively easily. How combat in this game works, it's nothing too complicated. You have the standard unit strength, in my case My scout is a 5 strength, so in other words, anytime I attack with the scout, it's going to deal 5 damage, providing the enemies don't have wow, I'm just stumbling over myself here. Providing the enemies don't have any armor. So if you look here at this armored orc, obviously it's called armored, it's in the name. It has 2 armor. So what we end up doing to determine how much damage that we will do is we subtract the 2 armor from the 5 damage that we do, and we'll be doing 3 damage. And as a matter of fact, it actually shows on both of these orcs there's a little shield above them, and that indicates how much damage I would do. So let's go ahead and attack 1 time, attack 2 times, and now this unit has truly used all of its movement potential. So let's move on. Here we have our main unit. He's like the lord of this entire army, and he's the one who's mainly orchestrating this campaign against the orcs. So he's mounted at the moment, and that means that he has this special perk up here that's it's a charge. It's a passive ability. Basically, if you move in 3 squares, they're not squares, 3 spaces in any direction, you will get the charge bonus. And we can go ahead and run all the way straight down here. We'll get our charge bonus, and that increases our strength by 3 because it's a passive ability that activates whenever you do the charge. So we're gonna go ahead and attack once and attack twice because he has 2 attack, and that pretty much does it for that enemy. Takes care of that enemy. We also have another knight over here. This knight, as a matter of fact, does not have 2 attacks, and they have the charge again, but there was another ability that I guess I want to call him my lord, but I guess we can call him that. I mean, do they really tell you what he is? He's a knight at the moment, but besides calling him Cendor, he really doesn't have like a title or anything. So it's a little bit hazy. I really don't know what to say about it. Okay, let's take our second scout here and fire a couple times at this armored orc because we are within range. So we're just going to take care of that. Here's the High Priestess, whose primary job is to heal the army. And our standard soldier... Wow, I really cannot pronounce words today, can I? My standard soldier, who is basically a grunt. Like, they don't have any special abilities at all. Unlike knights, unlike the priestess, unlike the scout. So they're just units. Okay. Click the castle to end the turn, and the enemy will take theirs. Now Cendor, let's just call him Cendor. He has the ability to counterattack. So whenever I am attacked via melee, he will actually do a counterattack. Now in this case, they're introducing me to the mechanics of the scout, and they wanted to tell me that I could actually jump on the other side of this wall with the objective to get rid of the ballista. Now, I'm not sure I can get over there in 1 turn. No, I can't. So it will take another turn yet before I can jump over on the other side of this wall. And that was the reason why they introduced the scouts in this one, is because they wanted you to see how they would work, where you can teleport through walls and get immediate access to those ballistas, because the ballistas deal a fair amount of damage if you approach them directly. They have 9 strength, so as you might imagine, they have a long range, 9 strength. They can do some serious damage to you if you're not careful. In terms of movement speed, I believe this is the fastest you can make units move in the game. So, if you think about long term, what is the potential here? You have to actually watch the animations all the time, which I imagine probably won't get old because this is not a game that is billed as being exceedingly long. So you'll probably play through the campaign, and then there are also some skirmishes against the AI. So overall, it shouldn't take too long to finish the whole thing. I don't think, anyway. I've not done it personally myself, but that's just the impression I've gotten so far. So we're going to use our dash ability, or what is it? It's a charge ability here once again, that additional damage bonus. That way we can add a total of 3 additional strength to our attacks with Cendor. We're just going to call him Cendor, like I said before. One of the things is that units do not earn experience in this game. So even though Cendor defeated that unit, he's not actually going to get any experience for that. And we're going to use our scout to teleport over here and attack this ballista twice to get rid of it. Just like that. Works like a charm. I don't think there was a difficulty, but I could be wrong about that. I didn't see a difficulty for this mission. I'm not sure if you can play it on different difficulties or not. I mean, if you take a look here at the options, it's not going to be there. So maybe it was back when I first started it. But we're going to continue on here, just to play through this. As you can tell, like right here, the little speed up and slow down icons while the turn is going. And I'm currently playing it on the faster animations. So normally it would be playing even slower. So a couple more turrets there. And it's suggested that I go ahead and use my scouts to get rid of them. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Moving as quickly as possible with them. I don't have the ability to shoot at anything, so he's just going to stay there. We can shoot with this scout, however. So that's pretty nice. I don't think we can actually get any charge bonuses here. So we're just going to have to go up directly to them and attack in a more conventional manner. Without the charge passive boost, you do 3 less damage. Now, what I'm going to do here, and this is another ability that's unique to Cendor, is that he has the turn back time. So he can cast this on any unit but himself, and it will reverse their move this turn. And now he has this unit has the ability to move again. And you'll notice the previous damage that this unit had done is not reset. So in other words, that unit that I destroyed with this knight here is still gone, and I basically get to take another turn with him, and I get to remove that other orc, armored orc right there. So that's pretty nice. It's basically like having a second turn, but since fitting in with the whole time kind of theme going on here, it makes sense that he can just reverse time instead of giving a unit a second turn. Well, I mean, that's another thing, right? Because since it's not just a second turn, since it's basically reverting what it did that turn and allowing it to do it again, it allows you to get your units out of some sticky situations as well as reuse special abilities. So if I was charging, or if I had used my rage for that night, and then I reversed it using a turn back time spell, or whatever you want to call this perk that Cendor has, but what would end up happening is I would be given my rage promotion back again for this unit, and I could use it a second time in that turn. So it really allows you to leverage the special abilities of your units to much greater and deadlier potential. So let's end that turn. As you can see, that's what the ballista can do if you're not careful. I'm standing right in its line of fire, but we're going to go ahead and teleport across the channel here, and next turn we should be within range to remove that ballista right there. And now that I've taken some serious damage here, that will give you an idea of what it's like to heal some units. I don't want to get too close to these units here, so I'm thinking probably station right about there. This will make sure that I'm safe. I'm out of range of the ballista, while at the same time not being too close to the enemy bludgeoning orcs. As you can see, they have a total of 3 movements, so like even if they moved 3 tiles, they're still not going to be within striking distance of my knights here, or any of my army. But here's my high priestess, and as you can tell, the Farabel soldier is injured, so let's go ahead and use our healing promotion for that. Gave all of my units an additional 8 healing points, or 8 health points, but only one of them needed it. Okay, so let's continue to the next turn. You can notice, unfortunately, one of the things about getting this close is, I didn't notice that ballista there. One of the problems with getting this close is actually that I can't really leverage my charge passive ability with any of my knights here, which does kind of suck. But let's go ahead and try this. Try to remove as many of these as possible. I'll have to try to get that ballista over there with my scout. Let's work on this scout here. We're going to teleport through the wall like that and shoot twice. And that will remove that dude. And then we're going to move on towards the next wall. So there's a ballista over there. We want to get rid of that. It's interesting, remember, because I thought I was going to be safe behind this building. Turns out I wasn't. So what I think we're going to do here is we're going to fall back a little bit. Just going to retreat a bit. Since we're just as fast as those orcs, I think we can get out of range here. And make sure we heal our Farabel soldier again. So that's the end of that turn. As you'll notice, we're out of range of the ballista now, so we can go ahead and fight those. I actually did some damage with my scout to this unit right here, so we could play a fighting retreat sort of style right here. Probably want to target just one unit here. Make sure that I remove him this turn. We'll see if that works. Yes, indeed. And do that, and then our Fable Soldier also gets one hit on the third bludgeoning orc. How are we doing over here? We should be able to teleport across this turn. Now, if I teleport this turn, I won't be able to get back across without taking damage. So since I'm not in range of the ballista, I think I'm going to stay here for one turn and then attack next turn. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck across the wall since I already moved. As you can see, the bludgeoning orc with the hammer has the ability to knock units back. So one of the problems that I would say I have with, if I was going to be picky about things I didn't like about the game, is the fact that they really don't tell you what the special abilities of any of these units you come across are. You sort of have to figure them out yourself, which can be interesting, but you know, it's personally not my style. Okay, so now as you'll notice, we use both of our attack points, or attack ability. I don't want to know what you want to call those. They're like points. Let's just call them attack points. Those little bubbles on the status bar. But we still have our movement point left. So even though we attacked first, we still get our movement anyway, because we hadn't used that yet. One of the things about like the tactics in this game is the fact that some of the more advanced sort of turn-based tactics do not exist in this game. So, you know, you think about things like flanking. There's no such thing as flanking or zone of control zone. What is that called? Zone of control, where you would be penalized for flanking a unit, basically. So none of that exists in the game, but by and large, I think it does a really good job of it. And it's engaging. You know, the gameplay is relatively quick. It's fun. The pace, for me anyway, at this point, the pace just kept it going. So I was having a lot of fun just moving along. Even when you lose, you know, you can jump back into it relatively quickly. And that's nice, because if you lose Cendor or the healing priestess, you will actually have to start the scenario over again, because they are integral characters to the actual story of the game. So let's get out of range of that armored orc with our scout, and I think we're ready for the next turn. Yes, indeed. So the objective of this scenario itself is to actually get past or flood this city by opening up this bridge here. No, we're actually going to be closing that, so that way all of the water that's currently in here will flood over the banks of this little aquifer, or I don't know, what would that thing be called? But like, you know, I was talking about zone of control. I can just run right past this guy, like because there's an armored orc here means nothing to my scout. I can just move right past him, which like I think we're kind of used to having zone of control at this point, so it's a little bit strange. I actually should have shot at him a couple of times. That was a missed opportunity, I'll have to say. What should we work on next, though? I'm thinking, because I mean, I've played this before, so I sort of know what to expect here, which means let's get a little bit closer to these gates. Maybe that's something that happens later. Okay, no, it worked now. Yeah, these two green ballistic trolls, who are arranged, I should say, are going to come out, and yeah, they can shoot you down pretty quickly. And unfortunately, I used all of my movement points, so I think we're just going to try to stay out of their way. I don't want to lose units because of them. They each do 7 damage. They each have an attack, so these units should be okay. Yeah, because these all have more than 14 health points. But like, if I get my scout over there, or if I get my high priestess over there, okay, the high priestess, my scout is at risk of getting attacked, so I wanted to keep them out of the way. Okay, and they shoot the scout anyway. I said I wanted to keep him out of the way. Oh my goodness. That's the second time I've lost him. I lost him the first time I played as well. So whatever. I tried, it didn't work. Okay, we will continue on regardless. Porky. Okay, okay. I'm going to go ahead, teleport this guy back across, and shoot at the armored orc twice. I might have actually painted myself into a bit of a corner here. I'm not sure. I mean, he has 2 movements. So 1, 2. Yeah, I'm going to take damage here regardless of what I do. Okay, so we're just going to stay here. I don't want to get hit by both of those guys. Because I only get to use teleport once per turn. I get to move once and I get to teleport once. So, I lost my other scout, which is a travesty. Given the fact that they're actually very useful ranged units. Interestingly enough, when I was first introduced to my main character, Cendor, here in the game, I was not aware that he could actually attack twice, so I was really wasting a lot of his potential there. But we are going to get 2 shots off here before we duck back into the relative safety of the other side of this wall, and run away like the little cowards that we are. Okay. Since I only attacked and didn't use my movement, we still have movement left. And I'm going to go ahead, get some healing done, and next turn. Yeah, the game scenarios, they take a little bit of time. I would say expect anywhere from 15 to maybe 25 minutes each one, depending upon, you know, what speed it's actually playing at. In my case, I try to play it as on the fastest animation speeds possible. Basically because you really don't lose out in any way doing that, so it just makes sense to me. Our only way back across is either through all of these guys, or if we jump across the channel over here where we originally were. And since I don't think we could actually outrun them, I think they would have me cornered a bit. We're going to do it this way instead. Turn 13 already, and we actually have reinforcements coming in. So this puts a little bit of pressure on to make sure that you don't mess around too much. This is the only scenario I've ever seen it happen in, but put some pressure on nevertheless. Let's get that charge bonus. And 2 hits right there. Fortunately, our support here is a little bit too far back to be of use. But we can take 1 armored, what are these called? Armored orcs. We can take 1 out. For starting the next turn. Have we moved our scout yet? No. Okay, so we're gonna move that, teleport across. The interesting thing about the teleport is even if what? I was gonna make a point there. Even if you're not teleporting across the wall, you can still use your teleport. And there we get get Cendor's counterattack. And down here there's some stuff going on with the enemy reinforcements. We want to get to these switches as quickly as possible. That turned out to be a bit of a waste. No, we can't do that. That was a waste as well. Okay. I just used my other knight. I had a different idea. I had a different plan in mind, but I forgot to use rage. Rage is, every unit has that ability. You can use it once per scenario, which comes in really handy because it gives you a little bit of additional range, and it also gives you a little bit extra strength. So +1 strength and +1 move for that turn, which can give you some additional flexibility, and I would have not had to waste my knight's attack that previous turn if I had remembered to use it like I was planning on doing, but then I promptly forgot about it. So we're not going to be able to get any sort of charge bonus here. I could have gone ahead and used the rage. Probably should have. We can still do that next time. And even though we attack, you know, we can still use our perks. So, gonna heal all that. Bring the scout along. I'm not exactly sure we need to, but I'm doing it anyway. There's no way to actually just skip the enemy movement. You do have to watch this. I looked in the options and there is no way to turn that off. Like I'm the kind of person who probably would turn it off, but like I said before, the game isn't it isn't like Heroes of Might and Magic or anything where you're actually going to be seeing campaigns that can take hours, right? So it's not a huge negative. So I'm really not complaining about it. I'm just pointing it out. Let's flip the switch. Ooh, I don't know. We're almost done here. Even this mission is taking a bit of time, and I've already played it before. You'll be able to finish it next turn. Watch and learn. We're going to finish it. We're going to finish it next turn. Well, this turn. Come on. Come on, we can do it. Let's get him over there to that switch. If I rushed for it, I probably could have. But there you can see it closed off. The only way for the water to get out of the city, and it drowned that orc. Interestingly enough, my units apparently do not die, so they can swim in water. And as you can see here, as part of the story, we're actually teleporting back in time now. I was never really clued in as to why exactly it is that they want to teleport back in time, but I mean, that's the going narrative, and it keeps happening at the end of every mission in the campaign. So that's victory. And you can see a little bit of animation here as they go back through all of my turns. I'm not exactly sure the significance of running through how many turns you had. I think it affects your score. And here you'll notice another unique aspect of this game. So unlike most games where you'll level up at the end of every mission, in this game you level down. So at the moment my level is level 11, but okay, I think we have to click OK. No, okay, I already did it. That's the reason why. That's too bad. Since I already did it, we didn't get to see this screen, but this is the screen you're presented with after you complete every level or every scenario. And you'll, instead of like adding a development point to your stats, you instead have to subtract one. So it will say like -1 development points, and you have to apply it to one of these. It's like you will have to choose between what do you want your hero, Cendor. I want to call him a hero or a lord or something. I mean, he is Lord of Farabel, so maybe I should call him the Lord. You have to choose between like what area would you like him to be weaker in, because as you go back, as you progress in the story, you're basically going back in the story, and that means that you become weaker because obviously, like if you imagine yourself earning experience as you moved through the scenario, as you go back through it, you would be losing that experience, and that's sort of what's happening here. So that's the reason why you don't actually gain levels, is because this happens automatically at the end of every scenario where your experience is actually taken away, and you have to remove skill points or development points as they're called here because of that. Now, I personally think this is always a little bit of a risky gamble when you go ahead and decide to create a game which penalizes the player instead of rewards them for, you know, achieving stuff. But I found it personally rather interesting because the idea behind it is that it increases the difficulty of it like you would normally expect, because this is one of those things that you would see in most games. It's hidden a little bit better. So like the strength of enemies, the health points of enemies would naturally increase as you progressed through the scenario. But in here, we actually just have the hero losing strength instead of it having the enemies gain strength and the hero gain strength, and you're basically just, you always have to try to keep up with that. Yeah, but that's the gist of what Farabel is about. As I said before, if we go back to the main menu, there is this additional game modes thing. So there's classic mode, where you can choose like a race. I think there's like the kingdom, and then there are the orcs. There are two different kinds of modes. There's defense mode, where you basically try to see how many waves you can hold out against, waves of enemies you can hold out against, and then classic mode, where I'm not exactly sure how this works, but you build armies by purchasing units and stuff. I haven't personally tried playing one of these, unfortunately. I was just involved in the campaign, and I thought, you know, that's probably the main attraction to the game anyway. But, I mean, this has kind of gone on for a while now, so that is Farabel. Gives you a fair idea of what it's about. I thought the twist that they put on it was a little bit unique, and I really hadn't seen that before, so it's a pretty decent turn-based strategy game. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and check it out. The link to the store page on Steam for Farabel will be in the description below. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.